Hi guys, welcome back to my series Agile Development 101. In the last episode, we finished our to-do list, but it's still an open question if we've met our definition of done. The definition of done is a really important concept, particularly for Scrum. Although it can be used in a wide variety of contexts. It could be used outside of software development altogether. Basically, definition of done answers the question: what is our quality bar specifically, and 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 formulate it in a way that it can be a checklist of things which have simple yes or no answers. Now, what I have here is a definition of done which I've evolved over time, but other organizations might have completely different definitions of done, but all of them will kind of revolve around quality in some form or fashion. Some of it might involve risk mitigation as well. Now, my definition of done, well, let's go through it and check all these things. So all tests passing local. I have a test harness which tests a great deal of my code. And this thing has actually been running in the background of all of our, every time we've saved, it's been rerunning. And if I look now, it says, all the client tests have passed, all the server tests have passed. So it's passing everything locally. All tests passing Circle CI, Travis CI. Well, these continuous integration services only run when I check code in to my version control system, which is Git, which is on GitHub. That's the page we're looking at right now. So the next step is to check in my code. And so if I perform this command, I get a nice dialog where I can review my code personally before I check it in. And I can look at each file and the difference from the last time it was checked in. So I've created a file called shipment list item, and I've added this, and I think that's okay. I could probably put this in a variable, but I think I'm going to replace it later. You know what? I will do that right now. I'm going to turn this into a variable. So as part of my review, I identify things which are either poor code styling or technical debt, and I should eliminate those if possible. So I'm going to go to my file here, and this 999 I want to use as a variable in my my color variables. So I have color globals, and I want to give this one a name, and I put it in the right place. Let's say utility colors. Let's say disabled panel color. Yeah. And then I can reuse, the great thing about this variable is I can reuse it in other places. So I can reference that instead of the color. And now it'll work exactly the same, but I don't have to change. If I end up using this color in many different places, if I decide someday to change the color, which I probably will, I will only have to change it in one place rather than a bunch of places. So I'm investing a tiny bit of effort right now in order to save myself pain that I know is coming in the future, and pain times 100. So it's worth that investment. I am reducing my technical debt by doing this. So I've added color globals. I'm okay with this. I mean, I've added these two lines to color globals. I'm okay with this one. These might be able to, I might be able to put these into variables, but I haven't been doing so far. I think it's better to do that all at once. Publications, I've inserted this line, and I've inserted this line. That seems okay. Shipments collection, this is fine. No need for a comment or anything. Shipment list item. I noticed that there are some lines that I'm not using. I should probably remove those just to clean them up. Oh, and look, I've left in a console log, which is, you know, which is unnecessary. This is like a debugging tool. It doesn't need to be in production. So I should definitely remove that. And I should remove this line because I'm not using it, and I should remove this line because I'm not using it. Okay. So this code review is producing a lot of good changes. Okay, so I've changed those, and then further down the file, I've inserted this little guy. This is probably not the best way to handle this. Maybe it is. Maybe there's a better way. I don't know right now. It's okay for now. And then shipment list item. Okay, so you can see there's a little red under here. It's saying I don't have the validation in place, so I'm going to do that, which is just like a little, it's like some debugging code that will assist me in the future. Okay, and then shipment list item dot prop types. Okay. Then actually I can specify that so it's still got an error because I'm validating something as an object, and object is too generic. So instead I will do shape of active so what this is doing is this should go away. Why is that not working? Oh, not required. Let's say this is required. There we go. Now it should go away. It's basically describing what sort of input this component has. Is required? Is that the right way to do it? There we go. It's describing what sort of input this component has. Okay, so you see this check mark up here. It means my my code analysis has found no issues on this file. So I fixed that as well. No issues. This guy has some issues, but these are legacy. This one has no issues. 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 Okay. Then I should put a commit message, which is like a headline of all of these code changes, which other developers can read, or I can read when I'm looking back. What the heck was I doing? So what did I do? I did this. Adjust customer view. Use shipments under quotes. I can answer that with a statement now. Under quotes, quote, shipment list, quote, list. Okay. And then I can commit. So commit is sort of like saving a version of my code on my local machine. But I want it to go into the cloud. I want it to go on GitHub. So next I need to do a push. So you can see I actually have 2 local saves on my computer, and I'll push both of them. So push. Okay. Once it's done, I will go back to the site, and let's go to the code and look at this. This is the branch of code that I'm writing on, and you can see added roadmap.md, and then this is what I just committed. And this little yellow guy are my continuous integration services. Okay, So if I click on them, I can see it's running my tests. So let's open them up and see how they're going. These usually take a few minutes because what these services do is they create a virtual machine on Linux. They download everything from scratch and build it from scratch. And then they run all of my test suite. So it eliminates a lot of external variables, like other stuff being installed on your computer and I don't know, all kinds of things. So this guy has been running for 1 minute, 19 seconds. And this guy has been running for 45 seconds. Once it's done, so it's estimated to take 4 minutes and 38 seconds. Once it's done, there will be a status, and then you'll be able to see the status. I'll show you some of the old builds. It'll say success, or it will say failure. There may be some failures back here. I guess not. I think it's been succeeding for a while. And so it runs, it's running on the cloud. And then this thing will turn to green if it passes, and it will be like a green check, and it'll turn to a red X if it doesn't pass. So I think while we're waiting for it, it's a good time to talk about how this is useful in a team environment. So each developer on the team will be committing code, which is saving their local version, running their local tests. If they are responsible, they will fix their local tests whenever they break immediately. If they're not responsible, then they will leave those tests broken, and then they will push the code onto the cloud. It will get run in these services, and then there will be a report coming out saying, with their face next to it, so my face saying, my build failed. If a single test fails, it will say, James Burgess's build has failed. And everybody on the project knows it, and it's not a huge deal, but we definitely won't deploy that code to production, and it's definitely my responsibility to fix it. So it happens a lot, it happens all the time, but it is understood, it is my job to fix those tests. And there's an audit, right? So it's not even worth, it eliminates any kind of debate over whose fault it is. So if my test failed and I was on a team, it would be my responsibility to go back and issue a new build, which subsequently corrects the failing tests. Okay, and that's called, so every time the reason it's called continuous integration, so this service is called Circle CI, Continuous Integration. This is called Travis CI, Travis Continuous Integration, is because you're continuously integrating your individual code with other people's code on a large project. Continuously integrating it and discovering whether or not it has integrated properly. Integrated properly means all the tests have passed. If it is not integrated properly, then the test will fail, and then you go back and fix it. That's continuous integration. There's a subsequent concept called continuous deployment, where you take the output of the continuous integration and you may choose to have automatic deployments to either test instances or to production even, assuming that all the tests are passing. And so it shortens the amount of time from a developer typing a line of code to it getting it out into production, which means you're very agile. If it only takes 10 minutes from you saving something in this editor to it getting onto production where all your users can benefit from it, and it does so in a very safe, risk-averse way, then that's great. That's great agility. 10 minutes to fix a problem, 10 minutes to add a feature. That's great. But I would say not a lot of companies are at that 10-minute mark for sure. Okay, so this is now this build has successfully passed all the tests. So if I come back here, it says it's running my tests. Let's refresh that. Maybe it's... Yeah, okay, so it says Circle CI is okay. Travis takes longer. I'm not sure what the reason. I think I may be caching less information on the Travis build, but this one typically takes a little bit longer. We can see all the output here. So it's right now it has started the proxy server, it started the database, then it's going okay, then it's going to run a bunch of tests right now in the next couple of seconds, and I'll see the individual test output, which should look a lot like this, except in a pure text console form. All right, so it run the server tests, and there it goes. It runs all of the client tests as well. Here are the client tests. Okay. No failures, no failures. And so it's going to compile the results, and then it should say, it should change from yellow to green in the next, I don't know, however long it's going to take. Yeah, so what did we see? We saw that Circle CI was passing. New business logic separated from view logic. There was no new business logic. So on my definition of done, I can definitely check this one. History MD is updated. Uh-oh. There's something I forgot. I should update history.md, which is a list of things that I've done on the product. So shipment list item. That's what I'll call this minor release. Mint list items. Yeah. Low. Oh. Okay. Now, did this finish? Oh, it's taking a while. Okay. Now, this change I've just done to history.md, this should be checked into the server as well. So I should write a commit, make a commit, updated history.md. Now it's committed on my local computer, and then I should send it to GitHub, and it will also build and run that. Okay, so this one passed now. Okay, and I should push it to the server. It will rebuild again. I don't really need to see the output because to check if it passes or not, because I haven't made any functional changes. It should pass, and I'll find out later if it doesn't. Works on Safari, works on Chrome. We've seen it work on Safari, or we've seen it work on Chrome. Let's see about Safari. There we go. It works on Safari. That's about all it does anyway. So it works on Safari. My definition of done is complete. So this card, in my view, is done. If I go to projects, then I would move this from in progress to done. And I should also close the issue. Okay, and in the next episode, what we're going to do is have a sprint review with the product owner, which is myself, and review the output of the sprint. So thanks for watching. I hope you found this informative.